University Federal Credit Union. Local to Utah, loyal to you.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Holly Love, and this is Nate Jones, and we are talking about his book first and foremost, and then we're going to be talking a little bit about, writing a book and all of the ins and outs and what it takes to do it. So if you are an aspiring writer, this is all about you right now. So get out your notebook and pencil and stuff. But I did a little research on you, Mr. Nathan Smith-Jones.
Did you know?
And the Deseret News had a glowing review for.
Yes.
How happy are you right now?
I am so happy. Honestly, if they would have said, "Hey, we're doing a review. What do you want it to say?" I would that. That's basically what.
Let me tell you what they had to say. You just sit back and smile. This
Deseret
is kind of
News.
like a.
Wow.
Here we go. Nathan Smith-Jones delivers a fast-paced fantasy that leaves you hoping for a sequel. Dun dun dun.
Kind of amazing.
The story is written in short, quick chapters that keep the book going at a fast pace and makes it easy to read. And all you moms are going to love this at home because your teens are going to love this book. And there are some scenes of violence, but no sex, sexual innuendo, or bad language. This is a good book in every way, shape, or form.
And these
Now,
are all
I've not
direct
had a
quotes.
chance
It's
to
amazing.
read it yet, but that is so cool.
Yeah, and it's funny, and maybe we should, kind of start by explaining what an urban fantasy is. So,
we did promise that we would explain.
We teased that, we didn't quite get there.
What the book is. So tell us about the book and tell us how it's doing since your last time here.
A fantasy is a story where the entire thing, the entire world is a completely different world.
Like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, like Lord of the Rings, exactly. Middle Earth is not an actual geographical place you can visit, although I hear that New Zealand comes close.
Yes.
Now, but an urban fantasy means that it is this world. For instance, my book is set in Rifle, Colorado at first, and then it moves a little bit closer to the mountains near Denver. But it is this world, but with magical elements introduced.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that makes sense.
So that's an urban fantasy. Officially.
That totally makes sense.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
And so we talked last time a little bit about what inspired you to get the book and get it from the whole inception and how you were inspired and by a story. And that was a really cool concept of how writers work, how your brain thinks.
It's true. I couldn't get this idea out of, I was toying with the idea and then I just couldn't shake this thought of a kid making a grilled cheese sandwich, putting his hand accidentally on the burner, and it doesn't burn him. And I couldn't get that out of my head. So I thought, guess I better write this down. So I did. And
started writing and didn't stop.
And it started from there, So,
So he has magical powers. He is part dragon.
Yes, it turns out he is part dragon. It comes from, he's the 77th generation.
Oh,
yeah, the dragons in about 460 AD, they were being hunted. Naturally. Because, when you're a huge dragon and you have magical abilities, you have armor, scales, you have telekinesis and other powers, and you can breathe fire.
We want to take
and you can think like a person.
It's like a nuclear bomb.
Yeah, it kind of makes regular humans kind of a little nervous. So they started hunting dragons, and a few dragons decided, through their magic, to become genetic stowaways on the DNA of the only creature that they knew would survive, the very humans hunting them. So fast forward 77 generations,
What a cool story.
Yeah, it's a winning mythos, as it says.
It's a winning mythos.
And
worthy of a sequel.
Yes, and and it's very fun. It's a fascinating tale, and because my brother was helping me with it, Norm Jones, very, very creative guy, and he was helping me with conceptually, and I came up with the DNA thing, and because we realized his idea that there have been dragon kid stories before, so I just said, I think we need a fresh way to enter the story, and that was what I came up with, and then I just took the ball and ran with it, and it's exciting, and I'm just so, after writing for so many years as a local author, when something finally is well received, I've written a few novels. This is the first one to be picked up by a publisher. Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that process then, because you, we talked about before, it took you about a year to write it.
Yes, it took
From
me
start
about
to
2.5 years start to finish.
Okay.
It's 2.5 years. I started in July of 2014, and I just, I just decided to go for it. And summers, nights, weekends, holidays, I would get up early on vacation. When we would take the kids on vacation, I would get up early before the kids woke up, and I would just be writing, or late at night. I'll never forget my daughter. In 2015, she said, "Daddy, how come it's so late? Why are you writing?" I'm like, "Well, I'm just working to try to get something of quality out there." So
that's cool.
It was neat, and so
that's cool.
So it was a long
haul.
Yeah, but you keep the key is to just keep writing. I mean, honestly, there's this old Jim Croce song, "I've Got a Name." You know that one. And there's this one line in the song, I love it. Have I mentioned this before?
I don't think so.
There's this line that says, I have a song, and I sing it proud.
Ooh.
And I sing it loud, that's it. And I sing it loud. And if it gets me nowhere, I'll go there proud. That is the attitude you need as a writer. You really do. You have to just throw it all out there, be confident, and then,
See what happens.
confident but humble. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Writing is very humility-inducing. You guys, every writer out there knows what I'm talking about. But that's the attitude you have to have. You're going to sing your song, you're going to write your stuff, and if it gets you nowhere, hey, you'll go there proud.
Yep.
That's the attitude to have.
That was what it was
Yeah.
inside. That had to come out. So I think all artists kind of relate to that, though.
They do.
Because where you fit a lot of genres, obviously being a comedian.
Right.
When you say stand-up comedy, that
Stand-up
definitely
comedy is
feels
very-
that's tough like that, but that has a lot of writing elements too.
It's true.
But then acting, definitely the same
True.
thing. You just got to bring what your heart tells you to
It's
do
so
and
true,
just see if people love it, they love it. If they don't, you did what you came to do. So, so from the point of getting it done, tell me the book and everything from there. Finding a publisher here in Utah locally, what was that like?
It was hard. One of my favorite authors, Brandon Mole. I also consider him a friend. I wish we barbecued, but it's okay, maybe down the road. So Brandon, if you're listening, I really can't wait to read your book, Dragon Watch.
Now, is he from Utah?
Yes.
Oh,
He
cool,
lives
nice.
here, Brandon Mole. He did the Fablehaven series, very popular guy, and he's
have
such a
heard
humble
of
guy too. He's
Fablehaven.
great. Yeah, he's great.
Yes.
And so Deseret Book told me, they said, we'd love to read it, Nate, because they published one of mine way back when, right, in 07. They said, we'd love to read it, but we just don't have we don't have any room for another dragon story. And so I'm like, okay. So I went to the second biggest publisher in Utah, Cedar Fort Publishing.
Okay.
And they picked it up. They said, we love it.
Nice.
So
Love
it was so I'm glad, and they've been great to work with.
Nice to know that we have more than one publishing house in Utah as well.
Right.
There's a lot of different outlets.
Yeah.
Do you have any recommendations or lessons that you've learned along the way that you would, share?
You mean as far as the
whole
writing
publishing-
process?
The
Yeah.
publishing and like getting it out to people and having it available?
Typically, writers aren't necessarily promoters, and so it's really hard for a writer to say, because in this town, in this state, it's hard for them to just promote their own work, because they're just more shy. We're a shy bunch, writers are, but you have to just take that aside, and you just have to get it out there. You have to talk to the people. You have to connect with your readers, in order to do that, right? So that would be my advice: is to just be okay with or learn that side of it, which is promoting your work. It's hard because it's just like you're saying, "Look at me," but it's still important. It's such an important part of it, and so.
I was once told a long time ago, because I'm the same way, that I shy about promoting all of that kind of stuff, or when you're in an audition or when you're in a setting like that, to have like an alter ego that you play, like of yourself.
Yeah,
so
that kind of helps.
Molly, the promoter of Holly, and it sounds like you're being a split personality or something really psycho and crazy, but it does, especially if you're shy in real life, because lots of actors are shy in real life, like lots of writers, lots of artists. It's really hard to promote and get out there. All right, well, we will be back. Both of us will be back. That's all on the book for right now, but I'm sure we're going to talk a little bit more at some point, and we'll be right back right after